I'll give a call, and if there's anything else, I'll let you guys know about that, okay? All right, so, I know one of you out there, or you, Pam, I think, somebody said something about breathing, right? So we always kind of start with breath, but I'd like to start, and we say, okay, try to clear your minds. And we know how difficult that is, right? So the first thing we're gonna actually do is we're gonna take 5 full, slow breaths. With every breath, I want you to visualize, identify, connect with one thing you've done today. So you're gonna think of 5 things already. You're gonna let that come in and out so that hopefully once we've thought about it, we can let it go, right? And then the next 5 breaths, I want you to think about 5 things you have on your list to do today. 1 breath with every item that's on that list. When you exhale, let it go, okay? And then we're going to do something past that. So let's go ahead and start. First, getting into a nice straight spine so that your breath and your body is prepared for the fullness and that receptivity of those big breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose. If you want to really let go, you can exhale through the mouth or you can exhale through the nose, but we want to try to get those even breaths. So let's go ahead. Our first 5 breaths will be thinking about, bringing in, letting that happen, something that's gone on today already, and then exhaling it out. 5 of those, all right? Go ahead and begin. And our breaths will be different lengths. So when you finish those 5 breaths about what you've done in the past today, go ahead and move into the future today and your thoughts and your plans for today. 5 breaths. Each one has a thought, an image. Right. So we've gone into our past and we've gone into our future. Now let's come into our present and sit and capture those thoughts, let them go, right? Just think and feel into 5 deep, slow, full breaths. So part of trying to control that monkey mind is to release some of those thoughts, the previous thoughts and those that are coming forward. And then also our movement helps us to release So let's take our arms out at about shoulder height. Let's move one direction, pretend that's the past, pulling us over. Take ourselves back into the present. Take a big inhale here. And an exhale here. Pull over to the other side. There's our future. Big inhale and exhale here. Take yourself back into the present. Big, expansive breath. Exhale it out. Go ahead and let your arms come on down. Let's think today, again, whenever we come back into the center, think about that really being present. Whenever we come over to one side, we're releasing into future, or we're going back into the past, but then bringing ourselves back into the present. Let's lift one arm to hip, to shoulder, to raise it up and lengthen over. Let yourself go here. Bring yourself up with that arm straight up or at shoulder or hip. Let it come down. Exhale. Be in the present moment. One full breath here. Other hand to hip, to shoulder, elbow lifts or arm lifts. Take it on over. Bring yourself up on an in-breath. Arm moves back down. Take your body forward into the future. Arms come back into the past. And then let's reverse that. Bringing our hands, opening up into the future, taking our backs into the past. And sway here. Forward. Controlling that sway and that movement with our core, especially when we come back. Only come back to the place it feels like you're in control of that. You're not taking any stress into your lower spine. Okay? You're in control of it with your abs. Where are you finding breath to assist you with this movement? Let's do two more, just rocking slowly with breath. Find yourself in the present moment. Take a couple breaths here. So your shoulders melt away from your ears. All right. And then let's go ahead and take our hands, palms up now. Reaching outward. Take one hand to your shoulder and let your body only come over. The arm's going to stay right where it was. So we're not lowering this arm, okay? We're just taking our body over and then bringing ourselves up. Switching. Coming down. Exhale. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Take it back. Using oblique strength now. Before we were using other abdominal muscles. Now we're definitely working those transverse. Yourself up. One more time each side. bring ourselves up. Let our hands stay on our shoulders, and let's move our elbows around. Moving the elbows around, we're getting into our shoulder mobility here. Taking it just to where our shoulders say, yes, that feels good. Our edge, our boundaries. And then reverse. Building boundaries doesn't mean we're limiting ourselves, because we've got that word building there, right? So that building can mean we will expand those when we're ready. Good, and then take your elbows out, take your hands up into our cactus arms. And from here, pull back on elbows, lift through heart, offer your gaze up as well. And then bring yourself back into the present moment and bring those arms forward, trying to keep elbows raised up, trying to get forearms together, trying to cross thumbs, maintain that height. And you take a little bit of oomph into your forearms and your palms. And does anybody feel this but me? Woo. And open up, releasing back here. Take those arms downward. And let's just bring ourselves into a little bit of action in the trapezius muscle there. And into our triceps. Oh, let your arms come down. Good. All right, let's go ahead and take one foot off the ground. Make yourself into a figure 4. If that isn't available to you, then you take a block and you take your foot on that block, so you still have that external rotation in your hip. Okay, that's what we're aiming for there. If you can raise it up, that's fine too. And wherever you are, hold on. So if you're down here or you're here, hold somewhere. And we're going to bend our elbows, pull our heart in, come in and up into a king cobra expression of our heart. And then we're going to lengthen our arms and then curl, tuck, and round into more of a cat here. Pulling forward. You can call this a cow. You can call it a king cobra. You can call it a open-hearted expression, and bring yourself back into curl and tuck and round. Hold on. Let your shoulders round forward, but pull down. Pull with your elbows bending. Bring that heart back forward. So it can also be called king pigeon. All right, so we're just moving and letting our spine be like a cobra's spine, really flexible. Being like that cat and that, I don't think a cow's spine is really that flexible. I don't know. Cows are kind of, when I watch them, I see their heads rise up as if they're in that cow position, but they don't really move that spine very much. We know cats do. Dogs do. Let's do one more set. And then bringing ourselves back up to straight spine. Let's go ahead and take the same arm of the bent knee that's above and just place it so that we're kind of matching our forearm with our shin, our elbow with our knee. The other hand comes to hip or at the base of your spine. And let's take a length in our spine and then take a twist. Feeling that probably in the waist, right? In the shoulders, but also in that hip. So make sure you're okay and you haven't gone past your safe boundaries there. And then with a long spine, begin to come out of that twist. And let's reverse our arm. So the other arm will come and you have to kind of come into a forward fold a bit to lower down there. Hold on, other hand to hip or base of spine, lengthen first, then come into a twist. Coming over into that opposite side there. Right, and then let yourself stay with the long spine, bring it back. Good, and bring yourself up. Before we release out of this, let's just take some circles with our ankle. So Sherry, this back side of your leg we're gonna get to, but getting this outside part here, let's go and reverse those circles, is good too, because all of that connects and makes you stronger, right? If you're working in those areas. So we need to work that too. Good. All right, go ahead and release that leg down. And let's pick up the other foot again onto block or up onto your thigh knee area and sit with that a moment. And if you flex into this foot, you'll feel it more, not necessary, only if you want to. Okay. And we're going to work backwards on this one. So let's start with the rotation and the crick and cracking of our ankle. My right ankle does that. No. My left the other day was bothering me, but it's much better now. So I was sharing with Pam, I shared with you guys the other day a little bit of my history and story. Let's go in reverse. But my birth mother fell and broke her hip. Some of you have met her, I think. Lydia has met my birth mom. I don't know if any of the rest of you have. Tough cookie. She broke a hip a few years ago, and now it's the other one. She broke her clavicle a couple of weeks ago because she's falling, right? And she's not using her walker, and she's not getting up and moving and exercising. And again, I have little control of that. Just I'm pretty much an outsider, but anyway, she's in the hospital now and surgery today at 4. All right, and then from here, we went ahead, take the arm of the top leg, send it down, hold on, hand it hip or lower spine, lengthen first, okay? So I lengthen myself and then I come into that twist so that I can do those twists in a safe manner. So, and then my brother's wife's mother died a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna head there in a couple weeks just for a weekend for a funeral. I don't know if I'll get to see my mom. Things are pretty closed there in terms of visitation. Let's go ahead and release out of that. And then we have other things going on, as all families do. Find your forearm on your shin, other forearm and other shin. Take hands and hip, press the base, lengthen, and then take your twist. And then releasing out of that, bringing myself up. And then let's do that little holding on of the shin with straight arms and then bending elbows back towards your hips, coming through into that either king cobra, king pigeon, cow, whatever you want to call it. And then let's take it and curl in to ourselves in this cat position. Go ahead and a few more, you guys. Bring your body down and through. Let your heart come forward and up. And take yourself back. And I guess I'm referring this more to a king cobra because we're keeping our bodies lower than we would be in cow when we're sitting more upright in our chair. So if you're laying on the ground and you're pressing with your hands into the ground to lift your chest up and your torso off the ground. Let's do one more. And then find yourself in present. Take a couple full breaths here. Good, and then let's go ahead and begin to work with the legs a little bit more. So I'm going to take both legs out with my toes out and my heels in, opening up, and this has a lot of names too. We can call it goddess pose, horse stance pose, kind of getting ready into like a squatting pose if we were standing and then coming down. So let's go ahead and take one hand, slide it down as the other one comes up, and bring that elbow up, take it into a bit of a twist with the heart lifting, and then come up into present. Take yourself into the past or the future. Let yourself go. Then it takes work to take us back into the present. Bring yourself back up. Let's do that. 2 more sets, please. I'm exhaling when I come down. I'm inhaling when I come back into my present moment. So it's kind of like what happens, right? It's easy to fall as gravity takes us down, fall into thinking about things in the future, things to come. It takes more work to bring us back to the present moment. It's easier to fall into thoughts that we continue to have about the past. We have to work to find gravity to bring us back into the present. 1 more set. All right. And then make sure you're seated well enough on your chair. We're going to go ahead and extend one leg out. Find yourself flexing that foot and coming to the heel. Okay, the other leg can stay bent. And we're just going to start to take ourselves into a twist around the other way. Lengthen your spine. Press down into your heel to feel that extension in the back side of your leg. Into that twisted sensation as well. And then bring yourself back into center. And then let's take the other leg, bring it forward, okay? So we have a little more maybe balance. You have that block, take it right next to your front foot. I'm gonna lean on that block. Good. And I'm gonna take my arm up and take it over behind my ear. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen it up, or it stays on shoulder or on hip, okay? And you're just maybe moving a little bit over. But I want you to keep focusing on lengthening that leg that's extended. And then bring yourself back up here. And then let's regroup. Go ahead and bend the extended leg and extend the bent leg. And we'll have the leg out to begin with. Feeling into the heel there on that side. And let's go ahead and take that twist, keeping weight in that heel, extending through the back side of that leg, stretching it out there. And then slowly releasing back into the present moment. Let's go ahead and bring the front leg into neutral. Find that block if you had it before and you want to use it. Lean on that block, take your hand to hip, or take it to your shoulder, or extend. And if it's at the shoulder, you're just moving that elbow up and down. If you're extended, you're moving it out and bending. One more set. More time. Bring yourself up. And let's take our legs in. Reach for that strap if you have it, okay? You don't worry about it. It's not a have to, because we can do this without a strap or a scarf or a leash or a rope, right? But we're gonna work on lengthening the back side of those legs, right? So we now have, heard of a couple people falling. We don't want you guys to fall. So we need to stay strong. We need to stay balanced. We need to stay flexible, okay? So take that and wrap it around the base of your foot. Have your other foot down, doesn't matter which one. We're gonna do both sides. You got it. And then begin to lift it up. It may only come less than your hip height. It might come to hip height, right? Find where it comes for you. And let's not extend it any higher than hip height yet. A little bit, you'll have that opportunity if you want to. But let's really push through your heel and feel that opening on the back side. Keeping our backs nice and long too, right? Really good posture here. Then I'm gonna release one hand, let the other one take that leg out and open up, okay? And again, that amount or distance will be really into your boundaries that you've set for safety for yourself. And then let's bring it back forward. Take the other hand, hold on. Let that leg come over. It's gonna come a little higher than hip already, because if not, it's gonna run right into my knee, right? So if you can take it a little higher, see if you can take it across. Feel that in this area here. And still working to keep our spine lifted, because we're gonna want to go like this. And if you do, that's fine. But if you want to activate into that core a little bit more, try to maintain that spine nice and long and tall. And then bring it back. Take strap, one hand, if you have a strap or a scarf, whatever, one hand on one side, one hand on the other. Bend into the knee and bring that knee in as close as you can to your torso. And then extend it out. Exhale. Bend your elbows. Inhale. Extend. Two more. Again, trying to maintain my spine straight. If you need to go back into the chair, please do. And extend it out. Good. Now you can just hold it there, or maybe you can raise it a little bit more. See where your boundaries are, okay, where your edge is. And wherever that is, find it and hold in the present moment with breath. So to bring yourself in the present moment, you think about what's happening with your breath in your body, and you think about maybe the sensation that's going on in your leg right now. That's the present moment. And then go ahead and let that leg bend and let it set down. Before we do the other side, let's take our hands and take our fingers and do a little bit of this, because we've just been holding on. And we talk about that A word, right? And that A word starts to affect us more in the winter when it gets cold. We need to move our joints in order to lessen that. And maybe it feels like, oh, I don't want to move them. And that's what your body's trying to say to you, don't move me. But it really wants to have some movement so that it can be free. Go ahead and let your wrists go. And reverse that flippy floppy of the wrist. I know it looks a little spastic, but it's good. And then just let it go. Good. All right, let's take the other side. I'm going to place my foot there. And I'm going to go ahead and lift that foot up to whatever height. Not past my hip yet, though, okay? So pressing in, find a place that feels comfortable to hold there. Let this also help you find a nice, tall, long spine. That looks good now. And we're really reaching through the crown, letting our sits bones take to the chair. Being nice and tall here. And then I'm going to take Same hand as leg that's extended onto the straps. I'm going to see where my leg wants to open up to. So I get a good stretch here. Pressing. And guess what? You're also lifting that weight of that leg, right? So I've got to be strong in my arm to do that. And I'm keeping my torso upright, so I've got to be strong through my core to do that. Take it back into center. Change hands. And here we do need to kind of lift it a little higher than hip, so it can maybe go across that knee. Maybe you don't go that far, that's okay. Just see where you are. The other hand can come out, or it can just stay down. But we're working this bicep here, working the strength of this arm, the hand muscles. Hands have muscles, we need to work them as well. Okay. And then take it back. Good. And now go ahead, take that strap in both hands. See how high you can raise that leg. We'll come back to bending the knee in a moment. Let's see if you can get into the upper part of the back side of your legs there, Sherry, by doing this stretch here. We'll get up and stand too and work in some standing positions for this too. Go ahead and bring it down. And hold on and bend into your knee. Take that in and let it come out. So is this going to be your inhale? And this is your exhale. Decide what that's going to be for you. And can we keep as upright a spine as possible? It's harder here, isn't it? Arms are getting some work here. Hands are too. One more, please. Good. And then let's go ahead and let that foot come down. Let's release that strap. And let's take our hands and flip them and fling them up into a V. And then let's take them down and take right under left. Come into eagle arms here, 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 or here. Lifting up and exhale, bow down between your legs or just to your thighs. You decide where your boundaries are today. Press into your feet, lift up, inhale. And we're kind of like an amoeba, right? That boundary is fluid. It's not static, right? It changes from maybe one pose to another, one action to another, one body part to another. I always liked, I don't know why I always remember amoeba and paramecium. I don't know why, but I thought those guys were little cute things, you know, and they kind of change their form, their shape shifters. So that's how your boundaries can be too, right? Let's do two more here, lifting up, exhaling down, lifting up, and exhaling down. Good. Bring yourself up and release those arms, getting into those shoulders a little more. We'll come into that V. Open your heart and release hands down, left under right this time into your particular eagle arm pose. We're going to change that movement a bit. Bring your arms up and up and exhale it into a twist with those elbows coming to one hip. And then bring yourself back into present moment. Inhale and exhale. Take yourself forward. Inhale yourself up. And let's do two more sets of that. Taking it slow with your breath. And rising up. Release those arms. Oof. Bring yourself up to that feet. And exhale down. Good. We're going to start to work ourselves out of the chair. And this is where I may need to scoot back so you guys can see me better. So let's do a few sets of goddess seated first. Rise up, arms lift, or they're here, they're wherever your arms go. And then exhale here. Inhale, lift them up to where your lift is. Exhale down. Inhale, rising. Exhale down. This time, lean your body weight forward. Come into your feet and let yourself lengthen up. And my head gets chopped off, so I'm going to move myself back. Good. We're going to use the chair now, okay? And we're going to keep doing a little bit for that strengthening of the legs. Move myself back. It's a little easier than trying to move the device. And I'm not so sure I like this wide thing, because you see all this other stuff that you don't really need to see. So I'm not sure I'm too happy with that. But anyways, for today. All right, so let's stand at the back of the chair, and I'm just going to go this way so that maybe you guys can see me a little bit better. Let's go ahead and take that wide stance, and we're going to take those squats, but we're going to be nicely supported on the chair, okay? So maybe you can go a little bit lower. If you go a little bit lower, you're going to find that you're going to strengthen yourself a little bit more. But maybe you're not, okay? So just do what feels right for you. And here, let's just take a few little bounces, okay? Not very big, but sometimes those slower, shorter movements can really kind of get into some good strengthening there. And then come to stillness. Let's go ahead and lift up before we come back down. Straighten those legs, but when I say straighten, still know there's a slight bend in the knee, and you're powering those muscles around your knee to stay strong. Okay, come on down again. And lift up onto the balls of your feet. Okay, yeah, good. Feel that strengthening and maybe a little bouncing here. Ooh, heels down. Lengthen legs. Come on up. And now I'm going to turn this way because I'm kind of away from Pam. I'm going to turn more so I can see her. And then let's take and stretch out the back side of our legs. So just walk back. And are you okay on the carpet there, Pam?
Yeah.
Okay. Find that length in your spine. But let's find the length in the back side of our legs. That's where Sherry has requested more help. Take time, Sherry, to get on the chair, get on the wall, and find that length and that stretching in the backside of the legs that you need. But let's go ahead and come to the balls of your feet here too. Bend into your knees, right? Strengthening our balance points here too. And we're also strengthening the arms, stretching them, getting into the armpit. Go ahead and let your heels come down. And walk your feet back up to the chair. And now we're going to do a little bit. And here it might be better. Let me arrange you a little bit. I think to give you a little more room to not be sliding. Go ahead and set you up this way so you can walk there and have your feet on something. Okay, there. All right. So from here, we're going to go ahead and go into a lunge position, okay, which is going to help for strengthening in that balance. I'm keeping one foot forward. I'm going to slide the other leg back. And before I lunge, I'm going to stay in straight legs. So I want to be more in pyramid pose. So all my toes are forward. Can you feel that stretch in the back of your calf when you do this? Your heel may not touch back behind you. If not, move that foot up closer. I want your heel to touch the ground, okay, guys? I want your feet to be all parallel, right? So like you've taken this huge stride forward. I want you to try to get your hips so that they are in balance with one another. So the back legs, hip is not drawing back, pull it forward. You're going to feel that more in the back side of your leg by doing that as well. Okay. So pyramid pose here. Then go ahead and bend into that front knee. Ooh, feel that in that calf. It might help that you might be lifting off that heel now. Go ahead and slide that foot back some more and come to the ball of that heel in the back side. Feeling the stretch right here in your hip flexor. You feel that, Pam, right in there? More high on the ball of that back foot, knee and ankle, finding their position there. And leave one hand on your chair with the other one to hip, to shoulder, or to raise it up. Okay. Some of you may take the other hand off. No need. We're working on strengthening right here. That hand comes down, the other one comes up. And this just keeps our mind off of what's going on our legs right now. Let that hand come down. Good. And then bring that front foot back, both legs straight, and walk it out here. Let your knees be happy. Let your hips be happy. Good. And then I'm going to lead the opposite foot forward. Take the other one back with straight legs. So I might not go back that far. Feet still stay parallel, matching the sides of your mat if you're standing on a mat. If not, they're just parallel to one another, okay? And that back hip, bring it forward a little bit more because it wants to pull back with that leg. Toes all forward. Just find this nice stretch into your calf, into the hamstring, to the back side of your leg. And then bend into the front knee. Maybe move it forward, that foot. Maybe moving the back foot back farther so you can get into the depth of your lunge that you want to take. That was beautiful, Pam. That's beautiful. Yes, we want that 90-degree angle on that front leg. Pam's is perfect. You guys can't really see your legs, but just kind of check into that, okay? And again, that hip on the back leg, try to bring it a little bit more forward to match the other hip because your feet are all running parallel to one another. So it's okay for the hips to stay also aligned. From here, just strengthen those legs. If you want, you can lift one arm up so you have more work to do with balance. It's not that much more work, but it's a little. Take that hand down and the other one up. Stretching into the side body. And that's just to where that shoulder allows. And then you exhale it down. And bring that front foot forward and walk it out. Good, guys. Let's walk back again, coming into that half lift here. Is basically what we're doing. We have a parallel spine. We have our legs perpendicular to the ground. We're making this 90-degree angle. So much geometry that comes into play here with yoga. If I were a teacher these days and had to teach geometry to students, I think I would do it through yoga and through our angles that we create with yoga. And walk forward. And let's turn our hip to the side of the chair here and hold on. So yesterday on NPR, there was a story, and we're going to work on balance a little bit. Take the inner leg and have it be really strong there. And we're going to turn out the other leg. We're going to work into tree pose, okay? And there was a teacher who was working with students and incorporating skateboarding into her lessons. It was really brilliant. these kids are designing communities and they're designing things. And I thought, yeah, you could teach science and math and all kinds of things, art through that. Come on to toes if you like. Come in if you like here, and just have this nice, sweet extension of your spine and your crown of your head, maybe hand here. And if you want, you can take that foot to your, up from the ankle to your calf, still pressing down, maybe hand here or wherever feels good for you. Maybe playing with lifting this hand off the chair. Yeah. Good. Let's go ahead and lower and let's walk it out. So our balance, let's take our shoulders for a walk too. Our balance has boundaries too. And it's like an amoeba. It changes from day to day. Let's go around the other way. It changes as we change and as we grow and as our minds change, because in my mind, like we talked in the beginning, is way back in the past or it's way in the future. I'm really having a hard time staying balanced, okay, in the present moment. So I'm going to go ahead, and you guys don't need to, but just so I don't face away from you, I'm going to change the chair. And I'm going to take myself into stillness here after being really mobile. Then the leg next to the chair now is going to take muscle to bone here, real strong. Outside foot turns out as that knee turns out, and I open up at the hip. And then you can stay right there. You can come to the big toe. You can bring it in. If you bring it in, you're going to notice, ooh, my weight's coming over towards the chair. Really press down into the earth. Really press up through your head. Try not to press a lot into the chair, but know that it's there for you, okay? Hand can come to sternum or to hip. You can explore with a moving arm. You can take that foot to your calf. Just don't place it on your knee joint, you guys, okay? No knee joint is meant to be pushed outward laterally, okay? We don't want to do that. I think laterally is the right word for that. If I taught geometry, I could learn more geometry through exploring yoga too. Like terms, right? And that other hand, you can kind of play with a bit. Yeah. And we can build our trees. And place our foot down and let's walk it out. Shake it out. Good. And then let's come back into our chair. So when you practice balance, like we just did on one leg, you're practicing not just balance, but strengthening, right? And you're practicing flexibility, right? That flexibility of keeping that leg open, right? So strength, opening, flexibility, and then balance, they all come together, right? So let's go ahead and sit. Let's just do a little bit of free movement here with our legs open, because we're going to do a seated seaweed asana. I think we did standing last week. This week, you're really going to be able to move all of this, right? You can just stay like this. If you don't want to go into wrapping your arms into Gargasana arms, you don't have to. You can just float like this, okay? And let yourself go. You can wrap if you want. That's how we usually do it. But let your chest and your belly and your torso and your arms and your shoulders and your elbows and your neck and your feet, maybe you're lifting them up and down, maybe you're moving the knees, okay? Just move and bring it back. Let's go and walk those feet in. find yourself seated at the back of your chair. Maybe those blocks come underneath your feet. I know Denise has that down, putting the blocks underneath. Or if you don't have blocks, I sometimes just take my heels to the front side of my chair. But let your back go. We've been really maintaining that strong, straight spine. We've been maintaining the strength of our core to do that. Now let's let ourselves go, but consciously let ourselves go. Feel the spine attached to the back of the chair. Take your navel, feel it coming inward. So that means the lumbar spine pulls back into your chair as well. And still breathe, though. Let's come into this present moment. Follow your navel to keep you here. That navel, that place where we once were connected to our mothers, who once were connected to their mothers, so on and so forth. And then taking left hand and right hand to your heart center. Let your chin come towards your chest as you bow down to your true teacher, yourself, the one that has set your own amoebic boundaries for safety, for health, for self-love. So from my heart, my amoebic heart to yours, namaste, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Sherry. Namaste.